Hey everyone, Natissa here, and welcome back to You Can Grow Too. How about today we take a look at the garden here in the middle of spring. It is Florida, it is hot and humid, but there have been some good things that have been happening out here in the garden and some new things to come, and I want to show you what we are going to do about them. The first good thing that has happened is that we actually got rain, about 2 inches. And the last time it has rained was in the last tour that we had done, the filming of it, and that has been over a month ago. And it has been in the 90s degree Fahrenheit here, and with the sandy soil and everything, it has just been, it's done a lot to the garden, not good things. And with my 2 dogs playing around, running in the sandy soil, they have kicked up all the dirt and dust, and there was a point where the entire garden was covered with this black soot that I thought was mold, but no, it was just dirty. And now with this 2 inches of rain, not only is the garden really happy, but the plants are looking clean. It also allowed my husband and I to clean up the garden because when it's too hot, when the bugs are out, I'm just not going to be out here. So we were able to do a lot of different things that we've been meaning to do. So the garden looks probably pretty good considering what is to come, which is our summertime. So then the sun is starting to peek over, so we're just going to get in there and check it out. The major new thing that will be happening is, long story short, this tree needs to come down. And for some gardeners, you might be thinking, well, that might be a good thing. It will give more sun for your garden. But where I'm located here in Florida, shade is so important because, yes, it's hot, but more than that is the intensity of the sunlight is very dangerous for us as gardeners and for our plants. And I've seen a number of times how this shade has saved our garden. So I'll be taking you in the garden to show you what we are doing to prepare for this new thing that is about to happen. But before that, I want to take you to the side of the house and show you a couple of new crops. Our Barbados cherry tree, still waiting for it to bloom. It has bloomed once before, but it just, I don't know, I think we got a couple of cold snaps during the winter time. I did a crazy pruning, meant to come back and do it better, but then it started growing again. And I'm always pruning this thing back and also fixing it as different hurricanes come and actually tip it to its side a little bit, but giving it a chance, hoping for more blooms. Underneath, I want to show you something that is working. Right here, we have some ginger and turmerics coming up. That's something I'm really hoping to do. I actually had a very bad harvest this year of ginger and turmerics, and I'm hoping to get it established underneath some of our fruit trees. Oh, here's one coming up. It's a little dark. Hopefully you'll be able to see it, but it's coming up through the mulch here. And down here, it looks like it is our blue turmeric. I can see the stripe there. We have a couple more throughout the property. And yes, we used to grow it in our carport, but we are giving this a try because I feel like in the future that's going to be better for us. Our taro, something that I should have thinned out earlier on, maybe putting 2 plants in each container. These love water. And yeah, whatever was coming up, I just let come up. But we'll see. It is a wonderful tropical root crop. And next to it, some perennial sunflowers that I need to chop and drop. Very good for the south. And they make beautiful yellow flowers. Before we go beyond the gate, some more chop and drop. This is the moringa that is in this section. And I have my Indian burr gherkin just starting out. This actually starts out very slow, but as time goes on, it is going to take over this entire bed. I'm hoping for it to be a nice ground cover here. And in the heat of our summer, they make these little gherkins, look like little pickles. I actually called it my beloved cucumber because I couldn't grow cucumbers for the longest time, and this requires no work. It handles our heat and humidity very well. And I have found last year that I can cook it in dishes and it almost tastes like a summer squash with more crunchiness to it as it is cooked. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to see if this is a good spot for it because it does seem to appreciate some shade. I have learned in the past few years growing it. And even if this tree comes down, we still have the moringa here, and that is what I'm hoping to be a nice chop and drop for this area, along with eating it as well. But we've already done a little bit of that here, so help build up the soil, build up the mulch. And something else you're going to see throughout the garden is we did lay down some cardboard. We had so much cardboard in our house, and I do chop that up, a lot of it, to help build our compost pile. But we just had so much, so we've been experimenting with laying it in the garden just to help maybe put in some mulch. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm really excited about this crop. This is cassava, and I do have this tropical root crop growing around the property. I have multiple plants of it, but this is a yellow-fleshed root. So I'm very excited to try that and see how that tastes. It looks a little crazy, a little messy right now, but I do believe with that Indian burger again going across, it's going to look really good. All right, beyond the gates. Our CISO spinach looking really good after this rain. It will look really bad even though I water it best I can, but rain does something that I just cannot do in the garden, so I'm very appreciative of that. One of my tropical greens. And our mulberries, I picked many of them, and the birds I know have been enjoying them. But I have learned I can cut this back and this will give us more berries, but I just haven't done that yet. And I always keep these mirrors on because this does help deter the critters in the daytime as long as the sun is out. The dancing lights do startle them, and to be honest, they startle me a lot, so it must work. And coming over to our trellis, we do have our black Puerto Rican black beans right here. And they're coming up looking really good from this rain. They'll soon be touching the trellis. And I have 3 of those plants here. 1, 2, and 3. Well, actually 2 here, but I gotta select one of them. And in between, I didn't want to do this, but I wanted to do this in the front yard, is I did place chicory here. Chicory can be a good coffee substitute. It doesn't have any caffeine in it, but it does have a nice taste. And I just want to get those going. Oh, Luna Bell, you're not supposed to be back here. Well, little Belle. And for our new crop, I have a velvet bean. This is a tropical bean that it says, well, it's a medicinal. You don't want to eat many of them. And it has, I guess, testosterone booster in it, but the dopamine is something that I was very interested in trying because I thought, you know, could that just help us have good feelings? You know what I mean? It's good in a world where we can get stressed or overwhelmed, full of anxiety. Could that help balance different feelings out? I'm not a doctor, I don't know, but I just thought we'd try it. And it's also, I've heard, good for a ground cover and a chop and drop, and it puts nitrogen in the soil, so I don't know, worth a try. And as you've been seeing, it has been climbing this trellis. And I do have a couple more planted on the other side. Still didn't harvest my pigeon peas yet. It did rain, so I'm hoping these will dry out. I mean, this should dry out. This is the south side of the house, where it's actually difficult to grow things here because it's so hot. But I do have more of the velvet beans growing. It is kind of attaching to this lemongrass, which I will need to chop and drop, but it will get up to this trellis. Along with an edible cactus that actually is not doing too well. I think little roly-polies have been eating the bases of some of them. I only have 1 good cactus in the back and the rest are really struggling. More CISO spinach, not looking as good as the other ones. They do seem to like some shade, but we do have a cassava growing here. I did not harvest it this year, so we will see how it will be when we harvest it a little later. You don't want that plant to go too long, but we'll try it. And a chaya. I chopped this thing down. It's an edible green you need to cook, a tropical green. And I chopped it because it kept getting a bunch of these black things on the bottom of it. Was it scales on the, I'm not sure. Couldn't get rid of them, so I chopped it back all the way thinking I would get rid of it. But no, it has come back at the base. It is a very hardy plant. And another velvet bean. We will see. More pigeon peas I need to harvest. Beautiful butterfly weed. All right, Luna Bell, come on. Luna Bell, come on. All right, time to go out to the main garden area. It's not even noon yet and it is hot. But before we go into this part of the garden, let's give a quick look to this area here. Lots more chop and drop of our perennial sunflowers, which I see is actually about to bloom, and they make those big yellow flowers. Very beautiful, but we chop and drop these in our garden, and this helps put nitrogen, and I think it's either phosphorus or potassium, one of the two, back into the soil, and also helps build up the sandy part of the soil, add some organic matter. Our bananas actually looking pretty good with all this rain and me trying to water it. And down in here, it's a little crowded, so I don't know how close I can get. But I do have a blue turmeric growing here. And I had done a video on how I grow blue turmeric. And I also did a video on what is this thing on my turmeric. And I'm going to post those into the description for you because it is that time of year where you might be planting it. And whether growing turmeric or not, this video about what is on the turmeric is a great lesson, I think, for us in life and in our garden on how to sort through information that we might not be getting, that we are looking for to help us in the garden. And in that video, I did an experiment on replanting that blue turmeric with those starch roots, and it kind of worked. Not in the way I wanted, but it did something. It did come back very strong, but check out that video. But again, I am trying to get my turmerics and gingers in this area. I just think it would be better because we are building up the soil pretty good. Might look crazy, but it's a lot of chop and drop, a lot less sand than before. And something really cool happening. Our peanut butter fruit tree is fruiting. It is dropping some of its blooms as, you know, it is very, very hot. And when it does get into the 90s, they just can't pollinate, and we have been getting days like that. But I am hoping some of these will turn into fruits, one of my husband's favorites. And I have a new dehydrator now, and we do know that we do like this fruit dehydrated. So as summer goes on, or maybe getting into fall, this thing will be loaded if it was anything like last year. Oh, I can't focus too much on all these tropical perennials because we do that during our summer tours, but this is a Jamaican cherry tree. You might have heard it called strawberry tree, but I don't like to call it that because there's another fruit tree that is called that, and it is not that. But this one tastes like cotton candy, and I had a tree like this and I was raving about it and I was growing it in my container and it was working, but then it suddenly died, and I think it had to do with the water, the moisture. The soil was very dense and moist, so I think it rotted out the roots. But in here, there are so many fruits forming already. And these will turn a beautiful pink color. It looks like a beautiful jewel and it tastes so good. So I'm really looking forward to this. And behind it, this is our hummingbird tree planted in a pot. Couldn't believe it came back, and this is not where we want to keep it, but we were planting those fruit trees, so we had to put this somewhere. But look at these shishito pepper plants. They have so many peppers on them. There's 2 plants in here and they're actually looking really, really good, really, really healthy. And if you saw, I think it was my last video or last 2 videos, I did a video on talking about cutting off the flower buds if your seedling is not looking healthy, or if it's too young and it's starting to flower, how it's important to cut those flowers off to help build the plant's health up and the root systems. And in that video, I pointed out these 2, and this was a very, very healthy looking shishito plant. Still very healthy. And this one looked like it was having leaf problems, and I said, I'll keep the blooms on because I feel like it is growing out of its troubles, and it has. It is, I mean, you just wouldn't even know it was having problems. It looks so good. So, I don't know, check out that video. Especially at this time of year where we do have plants starting to grow and you're putting out your seedlings, it might be a help to you too. First time ever that I grew okra in containers. In ground, it's just too dry and sandy for them, so I'm trying it in here. I will need to fertilize this. And I thought in our last tour it was the last beet, But that is actually our last beet, and I'm gonna let it go. I didn't know it was behind it, and see if it can flower and give seed just for fun. But yep, there's the okra. And behind the okra and the real last beet, we have our last onion in there I can't forget about. It's a red onion. It's not a bulbing one though. And behind that, a melon. This melon, I think it's Adisto 47. Anyhow, it's supposed to do well with heat and humidity, and it's supposed to be more disease resistant, but I do need to take care of it and get it propped up. I'm thinking of it maybe sprawling up onto this bed, which has some more peppers in it. Cubanelles, I'm pretty sure these two are. Also in that cut it off video. And yes, this is the very pepper plant at the end of the video. I really was going to cut off that flower at the end, and I just decided not to. And I did let it go, I did let it fruit, and the fruit did not stay. I know it is said, and sometimes I feel it as well, is, well, if a plant can't handle it, it will drop it. And it is true, it will drop it. But did I sacrifice some of its energy to make that fruit where it could have been making its plant and root system better? I don't know. But, I mean, it's looking way better than when it had the fruit growing on it. So, I don't know. I mean, I'm a bit more of a believer now. I mean, I was when I made the video, but to see it again makes you remember even more, I guess you could say. And, you know, it's looking much healthier for it. I mean, yes, it did rain, but even before that, I thought it was looking pretty good. And down this row, we've got peanuts. I have never grown this before. I've dedicated a lot of space to peanuts, as you can see. And it's already flowering. I think you can see them in there. There's the little yellow flowers. I thought that means that they're putting on their peanuts, but these haven't been in here that long. I know they like some water. I've been trying to keep them watered well, and with the rain, again, looking really good. So this is going to be fun to watch. And I have been having success with cucumbers. There's bees all on this thing, assassin bugs, even some stink bugs. So I'm going to try to be careful because I'm not a fan of bugs. Let's see. There is one down in here somewhere. In the darkness, I don't know if you can see, but there is a cucumber. I need to get that tonight. There's a few more right in there as well. I know one down in here. Oh yes, that's 3. And straight down there, resting on a leaf to help protect it. This has been my best cucumber year yet. And my problem is dealing with those green caterpillars that are on the leaves. Also the disease because of where I live. And also in watching other people grow cucumbers and harvest from them, they would just get so much. And I always wondered how they did it, because I would grow a plant and here I barely get one. And it dawned on me, as silly as this sounds, is that other people are growing multiple cucumbers on their trellis. So right here I actually have 3 cucumber plants, and one of them is developing a little later than the other ones, but the point being I'm getting more cucumbers than ever before. And it's just funny because in watching others, I just thought, wow, they're getting so many from one plant. No. So it seems silly for me not to recognize that detail, that other people were planting multiple cucumber plants to get multiple cucumbers, which make perfect sense. This variety is called Pickle Bush Hybrid, and it has some disease resistance, I don't know of what, and it is an earlier producer, which for me, well, I think it's helping me get more cucumbers because of that, along with planting more plants. So being I've had so much success here, I hope to next year plant this whole bed full of cucumbers before it's time to plant the peanuts. But we'll see, we'll see. Yeah, this has been such a good year. Going into this bed here, again, I call these the Titanic beds. We have the Oya that I have been experimenting with in the garden. I have another one around here as well. Too many plants planted together. I always have struggles with that. That's something I hope to be a little bit better with next year. But again, these were in the Cut It Off pepper video. And let me get on the other side. It is the Pippin's honey pepper. Look at that. Dark purple, very dark purple, and this is going to turn into like a golden yellow color, and then as it ripens it'll turn to like an orange red, and looking really good. I did take, there's actually a few peppers on there. I took off the initial blooms, same with all these peppers along the line, And we got a Cubanelle pepper down here, a couple of them on this plant. And all the way down the line. And these pepper plants are looking so much healthier, and I wouldn't doubt if it was because I took off some of those blooms. The rain helps, again, of course, and me just trying to keep things good. And you'll see more down here. We put some of the cardboard down in these beds as well, just to help retain the moisture. And this is a snake bean. They call it a snake bean, but it's like some sort of gourd. When you look up snake bean, you might end up looking up noodle beans, and it's not that. But I'm hoping this is going to go up the trellis and give us some of that fruit. An ashwagandha plant really coming back very nice. Really branching out because it got nipped at the top by some bug. You wouldn't know it though by looking at it. It looks good. And a watermelon looking nice. I'll try not to get too excited about this, but it is looking good. Ooh, I just noticed something. I don't know if it's too dark to show, but this stem I just noticed is completely split. I have been having so much trouble with watermelons. It used to not be a difficult thing for me to grow, and these were doing so well. I even had it on my Instagram page just talking about how the rain did so much good things to it, and now it has a major split down its stem. I've seen so many plants though go through such horrible damage and then come out of it very strong, so we'll just continue to hope for the best. But not hope too hard because I don't want to be disappointed, but you know, and also there are roly-polies in this bed that really eat at damaged plants, so we'll see. But look at this. Every time I think it's done, it is not. It is this sweet alyssum. I've learned this season, or I should say last season, because I planted this in fall and winter, is to just plant one plant, because this is two. And with it we have, oh my goodness, what I call the edible air potato, and it has gone up further, so much further than last time, that we finally have it going to the top. I have been trying and trying to grow things up this trellis that my husband has built up for me, and finally we have something that is very successful so far. And here's another one. We have a total of 3, and this one is almost at the tippity top. And the third one we looked at last time is at the top as well. And this is a very exciting variety to me because it not only grows the yam down into the ground, but it's also going to grow yams that we can eat along the vine itself. And this can be a wonderful tropical potato substitute. I've tried yam from the grocery store and liked it, and actually replanted it in the garden, which I'm surprised I didn't show you. Let me show you some of them now. From all those beds, we have 4 of the 7 yams that have come up. Look at that. And I did not harvest them. I left them in the ground and they are coming back. And from the information I'm getting, that means the root, the tuber you eat from, is going to be even larger. I planted 7 of them. 4 of them have come up. And I hear Lunabelle wanting to go in. So Lunabelle went inside. We'll see how long that lasts. But anyhow, this yam is a name yam, bought from the grocery store, spelled like the word name. And I just cut it into 7 pieces, stuck them around the garden, and they all came up. And most of them, like I said, have resprouted. So this is going to be large. So hopefully at the end of winter next year, we'll be harvesting one to see how it turned out. And we also have our sugar cane coming back. I do notice a lot of rust. I'm pretty sure that's rust on them. It seems to be worse down the line, but I don't know. We'll see. I mean, they still seem to be growing. Something I'm really trying to do for spring and summer is grow things that work. And that little flower down there is a vinca. And I try to grow so many different flowers that I watch others grow. And sometimes I just come to the tried and true. Yep, those vincas, we've seen them I think on every single tour. I mean, they just grow so well. They handle our heat and humidity. Why fight when you find something that is growing well? So I planted the cutting back here to help frame the garden, and it's already branching out pretty good. Like I said, a little messy back here, a lot of chop and drop, but this will bush up, and I plan to put more down the line because they're just working so well without any work from me. And same with this plumbago. It was just small little plant that has grown and grown and grown. I don't trim it. Maybe I should to make it better. But the point is, I mean, right now it looks very droopy because of the heat that's on it. It's actually pretty hot outside. But I don't do anything to it. And when it does bloom, it really does look nice. And that's the thing I'm noticing is, especially this time of year, I do not want to fuss in the garden. It's too hot. The bugs are everywhere. I have a big space I grow in. So finding plants that are just going to come back and kind of take care of themselves for the most part is what I'm really looking for. And, oh, another yam poking up through. Yeah, down at the base of this. Next to the bench, I did plant a Seminole pumpkin. We're gonna see if it's gonna work all right in this heat. I'm hoping as it grows and maybe catches some of the shade spots, maybe it will be all right. And I did plant this cutting, or I guess it's a root cutting, I don't know, of a plumbago, the blue flower we just looked at. Looking a little droopy. We'll see. I have more cuttings I could take of it, I suppose. But again, just trying to put in those plants that are doing very well, and I thought it would look very good on either side of this trellis. And I mentioned before this edible cactus. This is my best looking one. I bought the cactus pads, and they just grow super fast, and I can propagate this by just taking this off, sticking it in some sandy soil and just having it root and plant it out again. And I did that multiple times, but all the other ones, gosh, they were getting, I think like I said, the roly-polies were eating the base because they didn't make it very well. But this is a good one. I didn't want to plant the other one here, but I did down in there. I don't want to get too close because there's a spider web, but I did plant another cactus right there. Just because if this is the only spot where they're gonna work, you know, you just gotta get them in the ground. And here, what I like to call Old Toby. We took him down just a little bit, cut him back, and we're just going to see if he can produce more flowers because it was very, very beautiful. I collected a lot of seed. The seed are like dust, but the seed pods, you just shake them in a cup and you got seed for many years. All right, turning us around to this fire pit bed, still overgrown by this beautiful sweet alyssum. I'm just going to keep there just for a little bit more, but I have a roselle. This is probably the one I'm going to keep in here. I'll have to think about what to do with the other ones. But I'm hoping for some watermelon. This one has been planted in here a while, believe it or not. And this one was planted a decent amount of time later, and they both look the same. So I'm just going to keep them both there and hope that one will do something. This is the Jubilee. And getting to the back, look at this mess. This is our, what I called the Everglades tomato tree. It really was just using the dormant peach tree as a trellis. And we were keeping this here because you can see it's really died back and there's actually a lot of pests on it. But we were keeping it here because we had baby birds using this as their food source. So we were enjoying watching the baby birds learn how to hunt in this Everglades tomato bush. And yep, covered with pests. Oh my gosh, I do not want to edit this video with all these creepy creepies on there, but leaf-footed bugs, stink bugs everywhere. And it's hard to tell, but it did snap the peach tree. But it really wasn't producing any fruit anyways, but we'll see what happens to this space later. We do need to take this out. And in this bed here, all the collards gone, chopped and dropped, put on some of this mulch. Well, we used as like sheet mulch, the cardboard. And oh gosh, another hopeful watermelon, we'll see. Some Suriname spinach coming back. This is a nice tropical green. As long as you can keep the ground very nicely moist, maybe give it some shade. It actually does very, very well. Sends up some beautiful pink flowers and some seed pods that explode. I have this self-seeded everywhere in the garden. And a hopeful sunflower. There's so much to show amongst all this crazy goodness, but let's move on to this bed here. In okra at the corner, not doing too well, but we'll see. I haven't been eating much from these kales because it does have a lot of like the harlequin bugs on there. I don't know if the camera is picking it up, but that's just a sign to me that it's done. A lot of aphids and that sort of thing, but I'm using this as shade. It's protecting this watermelon down here that I'm trying to get going. And getting this roselle plant moved along. And roselle might look like nothing right now, but soon this is going to bush out and take over this entire space. And another flower that does not require my attention at all, in fact, I think this self-seeded, is the scarlet sage. I believe it's also a native here, and this is going to get bushier with lots of red flowers on it. One of our favorites. And now let's head on down to the rock bed. And you can tell that this is the rock bed, or what I call the horseshoe bed, because my husband and I were able to actually get these stones raised up better, because over time they really just kind of sink down and you can't see them. And this was one of those projects we had done when it was cloudy out, because it's really hard to work here in the heat with all the bugs. So I'm really glad we did this. It's all about taking those opportunities when you can get them. But let's walk through our nice little cleared away step stone now that we can use. Turn you around. And here are the noodle beans. Oh yes, Guyana and Thai Soldier Long. I just helped some of them touch the trellis the other day. This happened last year where they were just really scrawny, not doing well. And then this rain came, and of course, like I said, with me watering as well, but rain does something I just cannot. And they're looking so much better. I really need to mulch the ground though, but really nice. And we got these new trellises that I hope will last us a little while at least. I'm gonna have to put something in the middle of these two, because these noodle beans, they will go crazy. And this looks really good. This over here is an amaranth. It is a callaloo, I think is how you pronounce it. This was looking scrawny and crazy. I still don't think it's grown to its full potential, and it has gone to seed, as you can see. But this is a new crop for me to try here, and looking very promising. You can cook the leaves and use some of the smaller leaves in salad if you chose to do that. So we like our greens here, so I grow as many as I can. A cosmos covered with aphids, but looking like it's gonna bloom. And down here, our watermelon didn't make it, but I did stick in a pigeon pea. So hopefully we'll have that filling this space as well. And also, like I said, great for pockets of shade. Once our large tree is down, that pigeon pea will help us out and be a great chop and drop too. Around the edges here, the last of the tomatoes, we are not eating from them. This is strictly for a trap crop of pests. I know they congregate here, like the stink bugs and that sort of thing, so we're just using it to get them. The tomatoes are probably not going to be really any good with all those pests attacking them. But it has been a good variety. This was the chocolate Cherokee. A self-seeded wild lettuce. That's what I'm going to call it now, because that's what I think it is. It was a blue feathered lettuce I got from Baker Creek. I don't think they sell it anymore, but later I've been seeing things just like this called a wild lettuce, and this is definitely a tried and true in the summertime here. I forgot to show in this Titanic bed on this side here. We got a watermelon here. Trying not to get my shadow into there, but it's looking good. Hopefully no split stem there. Hopefully we have a chance. And our chocolate pepper plant coming back. This was in the leggy seedling video. It does have some peppers on it. It might be hard to see back in there. It's kind of overgrown with this blue African basil that I need to cut back. So kind of on the other side of this rock bed that we have made look much nicer than before, we are actually going to do a project where we are going to wrap it around much further. We have some fruit trees, and this is an yerba mate tree grown on the edge here. On the other side, this strawberry guava that we're hoping will give us fruit. It has been blooming, and some of the blooms have been drying off and dropping, but hopefully something will take, because we've had this a couple of years now. We just put it in the ground, so we will see. And along with those fruit trees, another plant I'm excited for, and we're trying to protect it from our dogs, is... the scientific name is, I think, Carissa something, starts with SP, I forgot. I think another name for it is conkerberry. And it has a bit of thorns on it, and we're trying to protect it again with mulch. We're just trying to keep some of the moisture in it. It's hard to get down in here, but it is showing new growth. And this is supposed to get rather large. We didn't know it, but my husband saw it at one of the local plant festivals we had here, and it said that it has dark edible berries, and the flowers are like jasmine. It might smell like jasmine as well. It certainly looks like it. And he was really curious about it. The price was right, and we just bought it. And again, that conkerberry, if that's how it's pronounced, and these fruit trees on the edges, and the yerba mate, those are all the things we are doing now to help with the transition of the new thing going to happen, this tree coming down, and we need the shade. So these are going to help us put pockets of shade in our garden to help other plants grow well, because we need some shade. In fact, as I do this tour and I imagine this tree down, I don't know how I'm going to do them because it's going to be way too hot, but again, we'll figure it out as we go. And if you've seen many of my tours, you've known that for the most part, I start my tour usually over in front of those Titanic beds, and I did it differently this time, kind of in preparation of the new change, because I get some shade in the morning against the house. So I'm just trying to think ahead on what we got to do to continue to make this happen in the garden and for videos. So many things. I wish I could show it all, but again, here is the other side of the rock bed. Again, we are extending it. It's actually going to go right into what was my growing in sand experiment. The video is not in production now, but it is finished being filmed. I want to get it out soon, but we're going to have it go right into that growing in sand bed. And this area is being protected by some gingers and turmerics hidden in there. Again, just got to plant things in the ground. This was the best place to do it right now because of with the new changes going to be happening, and just trying to protect it from the dogs with these containers. But yeah, you know, like I said, just got to put it in the ground. We'll figure it out as we go. Another hopeful watermelon in that container. We will see. And in front here are my annual sweet potato plants. I had done a video when I harvested my sweet potatoes last fall, and I mentioned how I'm never again going to depend on perennial sweet potatoes, because where I live, sweet potatoes can keep on growing, and I still have perennial sweet potatoes growing. In fact, I forgot to show it to you, but in the peanut bed, there are sweet potatoes growing there, and I'm just going to leave them at this point. But anyhow, I have found that I don't get much of a yield. I still get sweet potatoes, but not a lot. I talk about it in the video more. I'll post a link in the description for you, because you might be growing your sweet potatoes now, or maybe just for the future, something to think about. But this year, yes, doing it annually, I think I'm going to get a better yield this way. There's actually 2 containers here. Each one has 3 sweet potato plants in it. But we are going to be checking these out later. One has a red-skinned sweet potato with a white flesh, and the other one is a purple sweet potato. So we'll compare the yields of an annual sweet potato plant versus my perennials. And from the Cut It Off video, the opening, this eggplant, the rain again has pulled through. Looking very good again. All my plants were so dirty, just covered. I thought it was mold on every single thing. But like I said, it's been so dry. My dog's playing. They kicked up dirt all over this. But it looks shiny. It looks healthy. I cut off that flower, and we will continue to see. Underneath the scarlet sage, I do have a hopeful habanada pepper. We will see about that. And I chopped and dropped the collard that was here. I felt like it was time with all the harlequin bugs coming out. Oh, I gotta step in here one more time. I forgot to show you, next to these noodle beans, we have, well, and next to this pigeon pea as well, is this goji berry plant. It does not look like much now, I know, but let me tell you a quick story. My husband and I bought this a good handful of years ago at the big box store. It's like one of those bare roots, I guess. They're kind of like in a box. Anyways, a goji berry plant planted in our garden, and Minu, our adult dog, who is 7 years old now, was a puppy at the time. We had surveillance cameras on the garden just to keep an eye on things, and our goji berry plant went missing, and we checked the tape, and it was our dog, our puppy, Minu, took that plant out, laid it in the middle of the yard. We replanted it again. I think she took it out another time. We moved it to another part of the garden, and it did all right. It didn't get larger than 2 foot, might not even gotten 2 foot, honestly, but it did produce a number of berries for its size, and it kept doing it and doing it. Then we did a garden project. It got buried. We thought it was gone. Then I found it again, thought I'd be intentional, put it in a pot, put it in the carport, took care of it. It was doing good. Then forgot about it and thought for sure it was gone. And then recently, very recently. I saw 2 new leaves on that plant and I said, that's it. Get it in the garden and let's try. So I do have it here. We'll see. I'm doing what I can for it. It has fought this long, this hard. It deserves it. And goji berries are very nutritious and healthy for you, so my husband said, let's really give it a try. But honestly, when a plant works so hard in very adverse conditions, and it just really wants to grow, I just have this feeling that I just need to give it that extra bit of a chance. So I'm really excited to see what this goji berry will do. So coming out of our rock bed and going into what I call the cornerstone bed. So starting here, we have our moringa casting us some nice shade on the garden, and we've been harvesting from it, eating from it, dehydrating it. Very good summer crop. It's one of the best looking despite the drought we've been having, even though we've been getting rain. We have a couple of cassavas growing down the line. This is our smaller variety. It did very well. And more of the callaloo that we are experimenting with, the callaloo amaranth. Here is a toothache plant. I got this at the plant festival and it was only a few dollars, and I thought, I've been wanting to grow this, tried it from seed, wouldn't come up, let's try the plant. So we are giving it some shade to help protect it because I feel like our sun might be too much for it. We'll see. And of course, some self-seeded amaranths from probably this one right here. And our Oya. I don't know how well this has been working. I showed it to you in the last tour. I noticed the water goes down and is nearly empty after a couple days, so I did just refill it. And hopefully this cardboard will protect a bit of our watermelon. That this one is not doing too well. I think this is the super hybrid I've been working on. And gosh, I'm rethinking a couple things. We'll have to talk about that in the future. I did put another one over here on the corner, kind of hidden there amongst the greenery and Trop and Drop, but we'll see. We'll always see. I of course popped in some roselle, the edible hibiscus. We make a lot of jams with it and tea, and the leaves are edible. It has a sour flavor. My husband loves it. It is a wonderful, beautiful plant, and something we think, I don't have any scientific facts, but it feels like our watermelons in the past have really appreciated the shade, or maybe the roselle plant does something to help the watermelon. I don't know. Sometimes that does do something. But anyhow, we planted roselle down this line along with some watermelon to give it a try. And last year, this cornerstone bed was, I don't want to call it a wasted space, because even with the fails we have, you might not get the harvest you were hoping for, but you get a lot of lessons learned, and we learned a lot. I tried to be really cool and do this tropical Three Sisters garden with corn and noodle beans and watermelon as the squash substitute, and no, it didn't work at all. And this whole bed just had nothing in it all summer. It was such a disappointment. So this year, doing roselle, I know that works, and I'm hoping that we'll have some watermelon in here as well. But even if the watermelon does not work, I do want to show you something again that we are doing. I think there's some Japanese beetles flying around me. I'm not a fan of that, but I see some lizards. Hopefully they get them. But I do have a black diamond watermelon there, and I do have the mystery watermelons. If it works, we'll talk more about that. But the thing I really want to show you on this side, so that moringa right over on that side there, this moringa tree, we just planted a cutting of it on this side to help with the intense sun that is going to be in here. And the nice thing about this tree is, yeah, it gets large, it gets big, fast, but its feathery leaves can easily be cut back. You can use it as a chop and drop, which we have, and you can eat from it. So if you want more shade, just let it keep growing. If it's too much shade, just trim it back. You can even cut it down to the stump and it will come back. We've been experimenting with that too. So our hopes is just these pockets of shade that we are preparing now will help us later in the garden, because it gets way too intense here. This cassava, this doesn't really need any shade at all, but we are, like I said, growing a few of them up the line. And over here we have our cowpeas growing in these containers, and I have a video I'm planning to do really soon on how you can take your cowpeas, plant them in summer, and how it's going to help you for your winter, at least here in Florida. And I can see down below We actually have some lettuce growing and probably some Ethiopian kale. Oh my gosh, that's nuts. Not gonna last in this heat though, but that's why I let a lot of things go to seed, because I get a lot of that when it pops up at the right time. It's actually such a wonderful garden blessing. Beyond our wonderful cowpeas and our vincas, we also have the ashwagandha. It looks very dark on my camera, hopefully not for you, but it is starting to flower. I've never gotten this far with ashwagandha before. This is something I feel like I need to have on my property to help with stress relief tea and just things like that. I got to read about it more, but anyhow, I'm very pleased to see this. I didn't think it was going to work here too well. Now, something I really need to show you, very important, I do not want to forget. I might have to get on the other side of the cornerstone bed for you to see this. It's kind of a tight squeeze, but our single seed challenge right here against this trellis, it is the Thai soldier long bean with the Guyana long bean. I've been posting videos on my Instagram following the different changes that have been happening. But here you can see it is the middle of May, and we have, well, at least for the Guyana long bean, it is going up the trellis, and just a few days ago it just latched. So it's really growing fast. It might be kind of hard to see, but hopefully you can get a good idea of how well it is growing. And it's so interesting. Like I said, hard to get up in there, but the Guyana long bean is just one tall, long vine going up, and our Thai soldier long bean is not growing up, but it is growing out. It is branching out. Very strong and sturdy. I feel like it's really hard to show. I'll see if I can get some close-ups for you so you can see how different they are doing and how well they're doing. This is the Thai soldier long bean. I do see some ants on there. I don't know if you can see that. That might be a sign of aphids on there, because I did see a couple of aphids. I know noodle beans can get aphids on them, but in my experience, this variety really just, I don't know where they go. The aphids will come and then they're gone. I'm sure ladybugs help with that. But again, a lot of branching out happening with this Thai soldier long. And this Guyana noodle bean, like I said, just going tall. I do see some branching on it. So this is going to go wild. So I don't think this trellis is big enough for them, but this is just what I had for right now. And just a reminder, these are growing in food containers. And when you plant things in food containers and not in ground, they're not going to be as vigorous. So I'm not anticipating them to go too crazy, but we're still going to compare how many beans of each variety we're going to get and how much you can grow in a small space. Stay tuned for that. Not that my other noodle beans in ground are really a part of the single seed challenge, but it is interesting to see because those are planted in ground, the ones we had saw earlier in the rock bed, and the single seed challenges in the food containers. But the food container ones are looking so good, and they were planted on the same day, and I think it's because I'm able to keep more moisture and organic matter into those food containers, weirdly enough. And like I said, the ground has been dry and sandy in ground to where they've been just limping along, but between my watering, my attempting to water, and the rain, they are coming back. But this happened last year with my in-ground beans, and they have exploded in the end of the season, so I'm not worried about them. But we might do just a little side comparison of both just for fun. So yeah, the single seed challenge, again, I do have my Instagram, and that's where I've been doing a lot more frequent updates about what's going on with them. And at the end of the season, I do want to do a video of how it all went. And coming along the back, yeah, it might look good. We do have our grapes here, but these grapes, as with the seasons past, do not last too long once they start ripening because the critters come and eat them. Someday I'll love to grow muscadine grapes. I think they taste delicious, and they are larger grapes than these. These are very small, like the size of a blueberry with a seed in them, so it's kind of hard to eat. You know, you might get a few and that's it, and it takes up a lot of space, as you can see. So maybe muscadine someday, I don't know, but I don't know. You just gotta weigh it all out and see what's worth it to you. So I don't know about these grapes, we'll see, but they look pretty good to look at right now. And so easy to grow too, such a shame. But you never know, maybe this will be the year for us. Ooh, coming down here, A very struggling eggplant. I think I showed this briefly in that cut it off video, and just trying to keep water on it. Gosh, it was one of our toughest summers. It was right before I started making videos. I had an eggplant that was along this area, kind of doing the same thing, just doing nothing, just laying, being there, not looking the best. And when fall and winter came, it ended up being the best eggplant ever because of the temperatures going down, and then the plant it just went. My gosh. So that's what I'm hoping here, is just to keep taking care of it. I mean, it really does keep trying. And maybe this will be the star of the show in the fall and winter. We'll see. That's why I like to showcase some things that are just not doing too well, because a lot of the times, not every time, but a lot of the times things do work out pretty good. So I'm just hoping this is one of them. African blue basil, I'm trying to get established. More vincas, again, growing what works. I know everybody grows this everywhere. And I've heard gardeners say that I watch say, oh, it's a boring flower, everybody grows it, this and that. But you know what? I enjoy it. And I don't have to work much for it. And I am placing it around the garden because that's what I'm learning. I just like things to work, look nice, and like I said, I enjoy it. That should be answer enough. Down in this container, I think this is called bacopa. I think that's what it's called. It's a brain herb, very bitter. But something we want to work with some more. There's a little bee going in that little flower there. I don't know if you saw that. And also some purslane, a nice wild herb. This actually grows in our yard. But I did buy a seed packet from it because, I don't know, foraging. I'm very interested in that. I have books on it. But, it's just, gotta be very careful with it. But this is an edible green. Good for omega, is it omega-3? Something like that. Good in salads and reseeds everywhere. And over here, it might look a little messy. It's a little crazy, but it's actually one of my most favorite spots of the garden right now. A reminder to me to let cucumbers grow on their own, because this has been in here a long time, not doing so well. It probably needs more water, more nutrition. And I have these basils growing in here, which I have been dehydrating. Purple basil always seems to grow better for me, actually, even though this green basil was from seed from our first garden that we saved the seed from. And I just think that's so cool because it's from our first garden a good number of years ago. But again, I am learning to grow what works. So we probably in the future might be focusing more on the purple basil. I do have some perennial basils I'm trying out, but they're very nice. Maybe I'll still grow both. But again, reminding myself here to give cucumbers their own space. More of that wild lettuce coming up, and the very beautiful plumerias growing up, and starting to flower. We have our pink ones, and we have our beautiful, beautiful yellow ones. And I just think, like I said, that this strangely looks so beautiful. There's a cassava in there growing very, very well. We have also our Cuban oregano growing up the fence and flowering. It grows those, I don't know, columns. I don't know what structure you call that flower structure, but it's very, very nice, especially when well, the blooms are more spent, but still very beautiful texture. A 4 o'clock, also known as something Peru something, grows super well. They only bloom in the evening time and night, and in the day they go, they close up, but they bloom again later, but it forms a tuber in the ground. I've had this growing in nothing but sand. Maybe it wasn't the best of plants, but it really did very well considering. So consider that for maybe like a nighttime flower. And again, no care. Oh, like I said, the edible cactus not doing well in certain places. Some of the Bidens-elba is covering it up, but it is eaten up at the base. Will it grow some more cactus pads for us to take cuttings? I don't know, but we'll see. Oh, my hopeful watermelon. Oh, the Jubilee. It did send out a very nice shoot on this side, so hopefully I do need to come out here and do my compost tea fertilizing. I haven't been doing that because of being busy with other things and just timing, but I really need to dedicate some time to do that. And one of the last but not least One of the last of our kohlrabies from our winter garden. I'm hoping to dehydrate that and experiment with it to see if we can have dehydrated kohlrabi and maybe eat it later in the season in soups or whatever. We're still experimenting. We didn't see all of them, but here is another of the name yam coming up, looking beautiful. Ooh, might cover this whole thing here. And some more beautiful plumerias. Before the AC goes off, let's take a look over in this side. I don't want to forget to show you another yam. It is my ube yam. This is a purple variety. Not just the leaves and the vine, but the root itself, the tuber that grows underground. And it is starting to go. And I've heard that this grows, I think it's called aerial roots. I am blanking, but aerial tubers, anyhow, like hanging potatoes on a vine, so you can eat what's grown in the ground, but also eat what grows on the vine, or just take what is growing on the vine as seed, so to speak. You can plant those air potatoes, that's what I like to call them, the air potatoes. Plant it in the ground and you will get a whole new plant from that. So, or even just leave the yam in the ground and it should come back, as long as nothing happens to it, of course. So I'm super excited. This thing is gonna most likely cover this whole trellis, along with, is it a good idea or a bad idea? I have 2 butterfly peas growing here. These are the ones with beautiful blue flowers that you can make tea from. Probably not going to let both grow. I was just trying to make sure one worked so it can cover this trellis, but it might, or hopefully not, fight with that ube yam. But that might be kind of pretty to have that green and purple along with the blue flowers. And in the corner, another cassava. And last time we looked over here, I was telling you I have arrowroot, and yay, they have come up. I have not eaten from them yet, but I am planning to do that this winter, because that is when you harvest them. This was looking glorious, my katuk, but I had to chop it back. It was getting too tall. But again, you know, using it for the ground as chop and drop. We have our go-to cola. I'm hoping I'm able to keep this moist enough for it. It is also a good green herb. And a dandelion. That's actually very healthy for you as well. Like I said, my dog, Luna Bell, has been going potty in some of my garden beds, and you know, I gotta be careful about that. And this is a lower growing green, so anyhow, at least she's fertilizing it, and when she gets better at her boundaries, we can freely pick from that some more, but it's growing nice. Our Suriname spinach, doing very good against this house, growing some of those beautiful pink flowers. Down the line, another 4 o'clock, hasn't bloomed yet. And yes, again, our blue turmeric. Like I said in that video, we did that experiment. I harvested them, they didn't go too well, but because we did replant them and did our best, they did come back more vigorous, and we are planting them around the property and seeing what we can do with that. Very healthy CISO spinach, and more Cuban oregano. Oh, we had to come inside, and I am finding it more and more that it is getting hotter and hotter out there, and I am seeing more that when that tree is gone, it's going to get very hard to continue doing tours and figuring out how we're going to do videos. But like I showed you on the tour, there are things we are trying to do and figure out in order to make that new thing that's going to happen go better. It's going to be a challenge, but we're going to figure it out. It's real life. That's what this channel is all about. But before we go, I do want to show you some of these new things I am doing with these summer seedlings. And that is, number 1, I'm trying to grow some of these in the rainy season that hopefully will be coming. Yes, we did get some rain, but our rainy season comes a little later. So what I'm trying to say is I used to plant these crops earlier thinking I was doing a good thing, and maybe in a way I was, but some of these do need more rainfall, and it does seem like we're getting more rain. Oh, Luna Bell came in. Hey, little one. Hi, how are you? You're a good girl. You got your bone? Okay. But you got some Egyptian spinach. Sometimes it's hard for them to get going. I get them germinated fine, but I think it's just the heat, and you just got to really be on them with moisture. But once they're going, they're going. An experiment of getting lettuce growing inside. We'll see how that goes. And I mean to harvest from inside. Something that I'm going to say here, because I've grown it a couple times, is jicama. It always grows weird. It's a weird germinator. This one looks like it got nipped off at the top, but plenty of times I've had it. Luna Bell's bumping my tripod. Luna Bell, bumping my tripod. I'll have weird germinated jicamas like this one here where it looks like it's just gone, nipped up at the top, no longer working, and it will pull through. It almost grows like another shoot from underneath. I've noticed that this year that some plants did that. One of my pigeon peas did that. It was really strange. But anyhow, this one's looking pretty good. We'll see. I already planted one out there. It got nipped by a bug and is gone. Oh, those jicamas. I have a loofah. Took a nail clipper and just nipped the tip of the seed. I've heard to do that from somebody just to help let moisture in, and it seems to be working. There's one. Got some more roselle just in case. Needed another Lagos spinach. Some of them didn't do too well. Another pink amaranth, one of my tried and trues. And we have a hopeful Dune sunflower. My plants mysteriously died. I still don't know what happened there. A kakuza or kakuzi, a type of gourd that is said to taste like a summer squash. More Indian bird gherkins. Don't need them, but I'll hold on to them just in case. That's that cucumber substitute. More butterfly pea. These just came up. This is the blue flowered one for tea. Just holding on to them just in case as well. Pigeon peas. And the thing I'm looking so forward to, and that is our wing beans. I have an extra long wing bean and a purple wing bean. I'm trying to take care of them. I just up potted them because I figured if I get them in a larger container with more organic matter and plant them outside when the rains are coming, or I can dedicate more water to them, maybe this will work. My battery's running low. We'll talk about these more. And something that I am doing new with the seed starting this summer was, like I said, trying to plant more with the rainy season, at least expecting it to come soon. But also I used potting mix and I didn't sift it out. I'm not recommending that you don't sift it. I'm just seeing what I can do with that. I've noticed some of the seedlings stall out a little earlier. Doesn't mean it was because of that, because I wasn't taking them outside, but I'm being more diligent about getting them out into the carport, getting some sun and some nature and some air. I do really feel like that does help the plants grow, so we'll see. But it's good to document these things, not only for myself, but truly for you, so you can see, you know, the results of things that I'm doing, because I'm just doing my life here in the suburbs of Florida where it's hot and humid, and just gardening, growing my own food, and, you know, just doing my life. If anything, I hope it shows you that you can grow too. So I hope this tour has encouraged you to do that. It is the time of year. If you're in the subtropics like myself, maybe start looking into those perennials, because we're going to talk about them more. And stay tuned. We have our single seed challenges going. We have that tree that's probably going to have to come down, so there's a lot of new things there. And yeah, just so much. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.